Hello and welcome to today's crypto review and happy holidays to you. And in today's review I'll be talking about PolkaOracle, which is another project wanting to build on Substrate and on Polkadot. And as you know, I do check polkaproject.com for this sort of information because there is no other way to get this info, right? You need to have some sort of source. Now again, this is an open source website. I've done a review on Polka project before, so there's no guarantee that a project is going to be building on Polkadot if it's listed on here, but we got to start somewhere, right? So the best thing you can do is do as much research as possible and kind of differentiate the projects between them. And I know I've spoken about Kylin Network before, which are also an Oracle solution building on Polkadot, and they've got the Web3 Foundation Grant from the Web3 Foundation. But PolkaOracle are also applying for that grant now for Wave 9, which is supposedly going to happen, right? We don't know. Actually, when I checked on the Web3 Foundation website, it only shows us as far as Wave 8, so there's nothing on Wave 9 yet. I'm assuming they're putting together a list, they're getting all the different submissions, they're reviewing the GitHub page, and now with the festive season, it's unlikely going to happen until probably January, right? So we're going to see if PolkaOracle make it, but let's not waste any time. And of course, before that, if you're new here, my name is Claudio, and this is CryptoChain, the channel where I do crypto news, reviews, tutorials, and interviews. So please hit that subscribe button and like the video if you enjoyed it, or dislike if you don't. And leave a comment below telling me what you think of the video and what you'd like to see in the future. And let's get straight into PolkaOracle. So what's PolkaOracle? A substrate-based self-evolving Oracle system, which is providing applications or smart contracts with customized real-time on-chain data feeding services. So pretty much a competitor of Kylin Network, but they're focusing only on Polkadot. And again, Kylin are doing the same, but they've already got the grant from the Web3 Foundation. So another good thing about PolkaOracle is that they do actually have a visible team. Right now the team isn't visible on their website directly, but it is on their Twitter page, so it's still good enough, right? We've got a team there. Now they're probably going to be updating this website at some point because they did only start this project in October as per their GitHub page. They've had a token sale already, so we'll have to see how it goes. And again, they're gonna have an ERC20 token too. Even though they're building on Substrate, they're gonna have that ERC20 token listed on Uniswap so that people can trade there. And the good thing about this is that the supply is very low, and we'll look at that in a moment. But again, to actually see the different features here that they've got, again, scalability and interoperability, nothing special here. We've already seen that with many projects, right? So nothing new there. They're pretty much all scalable and interoperable nowadays, right? Especially when you're talking about building on Polkadot. Again, real-time data feeding, just like on Kylin Network, building on Substrate 2.0. And the tokenomics, which is the most important part, the part that you're interested in personally, right? I know I am, right? So, of course, aside from knowing about the project, you want to hear about the tokenomics. In my personal point of view, right, with the tokenomics of a project that doesn't have any kind of support from a bigger project, such as Polkadot, such as Cardano, such as Ethereum, you gotta look at how low that total supply is, right? It's very important because if you get a token that has like a 10 billion total supply, then there's a risk that the team are gonna be dumping on you when they unlock that. And aside from that, the private investors could also dump on you, right? Depending on their locking schedule or their unlocking schedule, I should say, right? Because when they get that unlocked, then of course there is a risk, right? So just keep that in mind. Now, let's take a look here at the token metrics. So we've got the pot ticker symbol here for the token. The total supply is 21 million, which is great. Fundraising is 20% of the total supply. And again, with 21 million, you could expect a huge price increase. And this isn't financial advice, it's just my personal opinion based on these low supply tokens, which we've seen over and over again, especially on Uniswap, right? Because if the total supply is 21 million, just think of it, the circulating supply is going to be much less, right? The liquidity fund here is 20%, right? So think about that, right? 20%. So yeah, it's gonna pump, right? Straight up. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt whatsoever. Now let's take a look at the roadmap here. As we can see, again, on their GitHub page, it does say that they've actually started in October, right? So this is something that you should know. And when are they trying to migrate to Polkadot? Q1 of 2021. And again, Polkadot are working hard now to get that parachain auction started. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Kusama haven't done it yet. And if you're new here and you haven't heard of Kusama or Polkadot, I have done 2 separate reviews on each one. I've spoken about them multiple times. do check the videos. Actually, I'm going to be posting the links in the description of this video to both Polkadot and Kusama. Do check them out, do familiarize yourself so that you know what they're about. Again, cross-chain interaction is going to be in Q2 of 2021, multi-chain data feeding and so on. So it's going to be a while before we're going to see some sort of action here, right? This is just something to keep in mind. Now, you can get in touch with them, but again, Telegram is the best place, right? Telegram is the best place to get in touch with anybody when you're talking about crypto. Right, that's the main source of information. Twitter is for checking the news, for keeping up to date, right? You follow them on Twitter, and Telegram is the best place for information. If you've got any questions, any doubts, any sort of suspicions, you should always ask them on Telegram, and the admins would usually be able to help you, unless they're a dodgy project. Then of course you're going to notice, because they're going to be suspicious. They're going to end up banning people for simple fudding. Nobody should ban somebody for simple fudding unless they've got like a proper reason to, right? They'd have to be very rude or something, right, for that to happen. Now let's take a look on their Twitter page. So here we can see that the team is visible, and one thing I found interesting here is that they're saying, based on their GitHub page, which we'll take a look at in a moment, they're saying that they're based in New York, but as we can see here, the whole team is Chinese, right? So they're basically saying here on Twitter that PolkaOracle is super excited to announce that 6 of the developers are onboarded in Substrate in the Academy program, among with a total number of 100 worldwide. Okay, now they are to bring new values to Polkadot ecology by contributing and continuous learning, of course, Parity Tech and Web3 Foundation. So we've got Chang Yu Yi here. He's the CTO of PolkaOracle. We've got the head of product, Wei Wu, and so on here, as we can see. So do check this out. Do check out their Twitter page actually if you want to do more research, because again, I can only summarize when I do the review. I can't spend like hours trying to review every single detail, right? I'm just trying to summarize it and kind of guide you towards the sort of information that you should be looking at. Now, here on their GitHub page, I always check the GitHub page or as much as possible if I can. They're saying here they're based in New York, USA, right? This is the website here, again, pointing to that. Now, having a look at the history here, this is when I've noticed that they've actually started in October. That's when they've launched their GitHub page, because if we go down here, this is when the first repository was created on the 13th of October. Okay, so that gives us some info here. There hasn't been much done, as we can see here. They've created a pull request for the Open Grants program on the Web3 Foundation. So that's what they're trying to do, where they're going to be submitting their idea to the Web3 Foundation. They're going to review it, and then they're going to decide if they're going to grant them or not. Based on that, right, they're gonna have interviews with the team and so on, right? That's what the Web3 Foundation does. And you may be asking yourself, well, how do I know that? Well, I have spoken to people that have applied for grants from the Web3 Foundation and have received such grants, so I do know what they actually do, right? So that is part of their job there. So again, not many contributions here, not much work. They're probably waiting for that funding from the Web3 Foundation. Once they get the funding, they're gonna kick it off there. So here we can see this is the pull request that they've created to try and get the grant. As we can see here, they've actually got a dedicated GitHub project called the Grant Milestone Delivery. So yeah, this is pretty much it. I mean, there isn't much to talk about here. As we can see, very basic website, very basic information. They do have a Medium page too, so not too much to talk about here that I could cover. But again, they do have competition, so that's just something to keep in mind. These are my personal thoughts. I do think they're going to potentially do well price-wise, at least at the very beginning, just because of the total supply of 21 million. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm curious to get your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, see you in my next video. Bye-bye.